by banning the Ashe. They're saying, hey, if you don't take that one away, we are going to first pick this champion. As LNG, I want to see, hey, maybe just don't ban the Volibear. Give away the Caitlyn, pick up the Volibear for yourselves. No, they're going to ban it.
So they banned the Caitlyn. They don't want to deal with this composition. I can understand why. When you're that proficient at composition, you know that it's going to be a hard time. So we see the Volibear as the first pick here for DMO. Now over to LNG. We have to see where they go next. I already mentioned it before. Light is most played is this Aphelios. It does fit a similar style to the Caitlyn.
I'm more curious about DMO's first pick because obviously Volibear has been our standout first pick. He's a great flex and obviously looks like the S-tier jungler this patch, but DMO have not played Volibear jungle once. It's gone top lane every single time DMO have picked it up.
So we're going to see Maple on the Zoe as well. He absolutely dominated in Game 1 using this Zoe. I can see a couple of smiles here for DMO as well, so it feels like they're still going to be having some fun in this series.
Last series, they're going to play in LPL Summer. I'm saying, give us some fun picks, guys, but we do get Twyla's Orianna. He's picked it up a few times, right? It's going to be stable in the laning phase against Zoe. You obviously have much lower cooldowns than her, much easier way of wave clearing, especially once you pick up that first Lost Chapter, and going to get Shubin on a pretty well scaling AD carry as well.
Yep, got the Ezreal for Shubin, so going to be very, very safe in that bottom lane. Does open up for Yui to go with that Bard again if he should choose to. Ezreal much safer than what you get out of the Ashe. And it looks like XX might just lean towards this Trundle once more. It's what he played in game number 1, and he looked great on it.
Yeah, and now I want to see if LNG will just go for last pick support because it definitely feels like their play's been dependent on picking up those third plate spots, sitting up for those plays bot side, leaving Flandre on an island. And that's what scares me about what DMO's picked up so far because their champions are not in a position to react to early game plays, right? We have an Orianna. She wants to get a few items under her belt. We have the Ezreal, who definitely wants to get 2 items under his belt before he's going to be able to start really having a massive impact on this game. But LNG themselves are the ones banning out things like the Karma.
Karma being removed from the table here.
Are we getting another Janna? Do DMO ban it? I mean, you might as well, right? It's your last game.
You could go for the looks either. One thing that is worth mentioning is Trouble Bubble sets up for other players' damage. So Lux with a Zoe in mid actually could be an insane combo. Getting the bonus damage on the ultimate could be pretty disgusting. Quinn banned away here. Flandre has been known to play the Quinn. He played it into the Volibear, remember. He's like the one player in the LPL that has played the Quinn outside of that Renekton matchup.
Yep, and we need to remember that most likely DMO are going to have to pick up a jungle because we have not seen Xiaopeng play Volibear. Of course, he still could. Again, there's nothing on the line for this game, so if Xiaopeng does want to like kind of branch out and say, hey, you know, give me a try on this champion, it's always possible.
So the Bard banned away. We mentioned it for Yui earlier. With the Ezreal can be an incredibly strong combination. Well, not even necessarily together, just in the Bard can roam, so that's removed. And now DMO. Could look towards another top lane ban here, but no, as you rightly say, respecting I1.
I like the smirk he had right when it got banned away.
Well, I mean, if you can get Janna banned, like, that says a lot about the level of play we're getting out of I1 on that Janna.
Okay, well, this is something that obviously we've talked about many times, pairs quite well with the Aphelios with the Lantern, but we've seen a lot of players kind of stray away from the Thresh recently. We see a lot more of whether you go the Nautilus route or if you do pick up something like the Ashe Karma, but going to provide a bit of safety, going to provide a bit of pick potential.
Yeah, and it's something we've seen I1D play one time through this split, but generally speaking, if you have been a support in League of Legends in the last 8 years, you probably know how to play Thresh, right? It's kind of a requirement at this stage. Shubin going to lock in this Nautilus for Yui, and then, as we saw, the ban away from Flandre with the Quinn, Renekton is suddenly a wide open option for the side of DMO.
Yep, nice choice coming out from them. Now it's about where does Flandre want to go, of course. If he wants to go for a bit of a more aggressive top laner, we do have things like the Kennen that we've seen come out. Of course, Jace is another option, and you know he is hovering that now. We're setting up for a bit of more of a pseudo-siege composition that we talked about. Zoe has the range, Jace has the range, Calibrum coming out from the Aphelios. And it does feel, once again, LNG are going to have a lot of lane priorities that they can play around.
And also this Jace pick for Flandre. It's tied as his most picked champion alongside Set, surprisingly.
I mean, now it is his most played champion, actually.
Oh yeah, this game will make it his most played champion. Has a great matchup into Renekton, can keep him at range. The one thing I will say, though, is we have seen Jaces in the LPL, most specifically the Shy, getting a little bit too aggressive, trying to overextend, trying to get too much of a bullying lane going, Xiaopeng is the kind of jungler that is going to punish that style of play.
Yep, and we've talked about, right, Renekton is much better in these 2v2s, so you have a ton of AoE damage coming out, you have the lockdown, so if we do see Xiaopeng make his way up towards the top side, that could be where DMO decides to play through the map. For the side of LNG, you're going to have pressure, so I want to see XX get some vision down for Flandre up in the top side. Then I think you just go back to playing around mid and trying to set up your bot lane. Why go away from what works, Munchables?
Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they say. I think that's LNG's motto, actually. It's just that in Mandarin.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I could say it if I wanted to. I just don't feel like saying it right now.
Munchables is the Mandarin man himself. Don't let hysterics fool you.
They call me the Mandarin
otherwise.
master. I know hello. I know goodbye. I know thank you. I know coffee.
I mean,
I'm limitless vocabulary here in the LPL. Let's get into the game though, Lyric. It's DMO against LNG. I mean, you've already kind of talked through the compositions a little bit. There is a lot of AoE on the side of DMO. If they can get to team fights, it actually feels pretty good for them.
I do feel like it's team fights later on, though. Like, specifically that, I'll say 2-item mark, but especially for Orianna, right? You want to start getting, however your build's going to be, if it's going to be something like
G
yeah, GLP, Banshees, Oblivion Orb, you know, get a bit more damage under your belt. The thing I like moving over to LNG, though, is it feels like their first component spike is going to be really strong, right? Because we're going to have BF Sword coming out for Light. We're going to have Lost Chapter coming out for the Zoe. That's when Jace is going to be extremely strong himself. So I think this first Dragon fight is going to be very crucial to where LNG can either start getting ahead, or they might even just get it uncontested, honestly. Because we do know that's when Orianna's in a bit of a power trough. Ezreal at something like a Tierra pickaxe isn't going to be that strong himself. You're only going to have Chalitza's damage, who you can rely on.
So, unfortunately, the observers didn't show us the top left of the screen this time, so we don't get to see which version of the dragon will be the soul. For anyone who missed it, we were talking about this another time. Apparently, Nemesis said on stream, the soul dragon is going to fly past the top of the map. If you look over into the middle distance over there, you get to see which dragon's going to be soul right at the start of the game. But we don't get to see that this game, so I don't know why I'm talking about it, to be quite honest.
Maple
Over to you, Larry.
Maple taking the spellbook this time around does make a bit more sense. It is much easier to proc the electrocute into something like a LeBlanc, who is going to be looking for these aggressive trades, and you're going to be heavy trading in this lane as compared to Orianna, where the lane pace is much slower, since Orianna does just want to farm up, scale up, play for those team fights.
That's a really cool skin on Xiaopeng. I don't know what skin that was, or chroma or something. It looked like almost looked like a panda. We're going to be taking a few hits from Iwandi. One thing I've been impressed with Iwandi is his positioning in the very, very early stages of the lane. He's so willing to step forward and use and abuse the enemy AD carry.
This is why it's so exciting to see him be used, since he is, a new up-and-coming talent compared to, a player like Tuan, who's been around for a few years, because we do see the potential Iwandi offers, and they realize they're going to hit level 2 first, zoning DMO off the wave. Very nice to see.
Twyla doing a really good job in this lane phase as well against Maple. Starting to put the hurt down in that bottom lane. Xiaopeng moving up to the top side of the map here. We'll be able to clear the ward away. No longer looks like a panda, so I don't know what I was on about before. Twyla is in a bit of trouble, but Pillar of Filth, not really much follow-up available.
Both teams playing around where we expected, right? We talked about Xiaopeng playing through top, trying to set the Jace behind. You have the strong 2v2. In XX, very easy time looking at mid. You put the pillar, try to force out Twyla's flash, but great job by Twyla playing back, also knowing Xiaopeng is hovering, so not feeling the need to blow any summoners too early. Now with the GLP, though, might set up for a very nice bubble coming out from Maple.
Chalitza just arrives a second too late there. Flandre gets his recall off. Does not go for a call, though. Went for a second Doran's Blade. Flandre wanting to win that lane hard. XX moving to the bottom side, though, because he wants to win the bottom lane. Light's going to get free auto in before this dive goes down, but XX is happy to step in. Iwandi looking for the CC to start it all off. TP being channeled. Shubin's the target, and he will be finished off. One more auto, and it's going to be Maple to grab the kill. XX flashes out from the play, and it's easy pickings for LNG.
Honestly, that bubble was so crucial. Had that bubble not come out, honestly, Chalitza definitely would have been able to take down XX, so Maple, in my mind, the MVP of that play, and LNG making that dive on a knife's edge, but hey, you got the kill on Maple. He's going to be able to back, pick up some more gold, maybe get some pressure in this mid lane. You can continuously look for these repeat plays.
And we talked about the bans coming into this game, and the first thing I said was, look, I really feel like Maple Zoe was part of the issue alongside that Caitlyn from Light. It really felt like Maple was the standout player. He was the one that got the MVP. Gets this Zoe again, and already starting things off strong here, showing us why you have to ban this pick away.
Yeah, Maple Zoe's, definitely something to watch. I feel like a very underutilized part of Zoe's kit, or under-talked about, is her passive damage, which, for people who don't know, Zoe's passive is a lot like Lichbane, to where after you use an ability, you get the empowered auto-attack. Your W also has a surprising amount of damage with, like, the three little like, bubbles that go out and hit the enemy. So I feel like we've seen Maple utilize both of those quite well. I feel like his passive is what picked him up the kill in the bot lane dive.
I'm trying to remember the name of the passive on the W, but I believe the passive is called Extra Sparkles, which is a bit of a weird name, but there you go. That's
They are
Zoe.
Sparkles.
They are Sparkles, and that's sparkling bit of damage onto Xiaopeng.
Do you know the name of Lilia's W?
Watch out.
I remember watching a bit of...
What a terrible name!
I was watching a bit of NALCS and hearing Kobe and Riv talk about it. I'm like, oh my god, is that really it? But no, that's an awesome name.
No, it's not.
They were discussing, though, it's a bit weird, because why is Lilia going to say, watch out, Eve to the enemy?
Because that's the whole point of the whole champion. Like, if she apologizes when she kills people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole thing is that she's like the bashful whatever. I don't know what. Dear, I guess. We got Iwandi in trouble here. It's going to go down. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
And I mean, that was just Iwandi walking from lane to river. No vision, and suddenly all of DMO is there. So, not respecting the priorities that DMO had. No one on DMO's side was showing in bot lane. We see that Twyla was pushing mid. And that equals out to a free dragon for DMO.
Nicely done here by DMO as well, because we were saying how the presence should have been there in the bottom side from LNG, but flash forward Chalitza wants a solo kill onto Flytrade, but he's not right under the tower!
Oh, that was so heartbreaking for Chalitza, because Chalitza's the type of player where, let's be honest, when Chalitza came in, Chalitza was not a good top laner. Chalitza was terrible. It feels like he ramped up to like being a serviceable average top laner. This could have been his stand, solo killing Flandre, but
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
Sorry, Chalitza.
You don't have to be sorry. He did it. He should be sorry to you.
Let's see.
I thought it was going to be Chalitza's pro view for a second.
I feel like Chalitza's pro view is actually a lot more relevant to this. So Flash W coming in sets up for the Q, ease forward.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that was
not much more to say on that one. Oh, Chalitza. It was so close.
You're a silly lad.
Oh dear. Well, now to the mid lane. Twyla takes a paddle star, gets slowed down by the GLP. Cleanses the trouble bubble though. That means it's going to be alright. Bit surprised to see the shockwave used, honestly, but you know. I guess they're not looking for a big fight anytime soon, right? So getting damage out of the cooldown is always worth it.
It's a bit interesting for the fact that Rift Herald's coming up in 30 seconds, so I wonder if that signals that DMO is just going to give that one up. But that's actually what I would assume. It's strange, though, because we look at top lane. Chalitza has push.
It might be more of a thought that, like, hey, I'm going to go get my blue buff right now. Maple, you're out of mana. Like, we could just go and start this Herald.
Yeah, like, the play was definitely to try to force Maple, down force him back out of lane, but the question is it worth it with, the time that we're at?
I think we're overanalyzing it because Twyla just recalled anyway, so I think maybe he just...
no, he didn't. Twyla.
Oh, he didn't recall! So,
inferior analysis.
So now he'll recall. So he got another wave. So the shockwave was worth it. That just bought him 6 CS. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our new best mid laner of the LPL. Rookie stand aside.
Both teams taking this one a bit slow. Again, I would assume DMO would want to try to use the top lane pressure to take care of. The thing is, though, we did talk about DMO wanting to play more of the slow scaling game, so maybe not feeling the pressure to take it, feeling like LNG need to be the ones to try to start up that objective. I feel like LNG can only take it, though, if they do commit their bot lane on a recall. They can't just go outright start it. It would be a bit dangerous.
It would, but they did say that the gloves are off in this series. That was, I believe, the exact words in that interview that we saw in between games here. Maybe we could be in trouble because Yui's moved in. That was a nice little hook from Yui. Easy pickings, and well, the shockwave's back. So we'll ribbon Twyla a bit, but I guess when the cooldown's that short, why not?
That great hook from Yui, predicting
The fact that Chalitza was going to go in. I see where you were going with that one, Lyric. Dominus going to be used, and immediately Chalitza just punted away.
Yep, and now DMO going to use this opportunity to take the Rift Herald like we talked about. They hit the top side pressure. Yui obviously set up for that great play in mid. And now just going to head back down to the bot lane. So even Shubin not going to necessarily miss out on any amount of CS, though he is down almost 20 right now.
Yeah, it's not feeling too hot down in that bottom side of the map. But we'll see. I mean, that is one of the things about Ezreal, especially when you're getting pushed into the tower quite a bit. You will see Ezreal's fall behind, but nice hook there from Yui to set this play up. Shockwave from Twyla to finish things off. And that's the thing about Zoe. People often think that she's a highly mobile champion. She really isn't.
He kind of flashed preemptively. Not kind of. He actually really flashed preemptively, but, you know, mistakes happen. Still feels like we're at an even point in this game. I mean, gold is actually almost exactly even. We see both junglers looking towards top side.
Sharp, I'm going to jump over with a blast cone, get back onto his own half of the map here. Chalitza recalling, so nothing going to happen there. So let's talk about the mid game then, because we talked about the potential of the 5v5 out of DMO, right? But it relies a lot on the scaling from especially your mid laner and from Shubin having a couple of items. Should LNG then be trying to put their best foot forward here and start to ramp up the pace of the game?
Yes, to me, especially right now, because we talked about this is the point where LNG's comp to me really outshines what DMO have, right? The BF Sword for Light can be much stronger than the items that Shubin's picked up. Zoe going to be a lot more impactful in these dragon fights, especially coming out with the Unsealed Spellbook. Flandre should have an easy time roaming down. Actually, he's already roamed down. So LNG recognize all these factors. They are going to be able to pick up this dragon. DMO might just have to give it up.
Yeah, LNG definitely on the same page as you here, Lyric. Just going to go straight towards the dragon. This is kind of what we expected with the first dragon as well, but obviously with Iwandi getting caught out there, did mean that they couldn't force the play earlier on in the game. Flandre going to return to the top side here, should be able to clear the minions away. Maybe looks for an opportunity onto Chalitza, but will get stunned and chunked out there. So it's just going to be an even trade in the end.
Not going to be too bad since Flandre has the mana immune. Not going to have to worry too much about mana.
So now to the mid lane. Sharpunk does have that Rift Herald available, so they could grab some bonus plates here if they wanted to. XX is here though. Looks like they're just threatening the idea of a dive, but Maple's not buying it. He's not scared.
Especially with a lot of these plates coming down, I would love to see Xiaopeng use the Herald here. I mean, it's going to guarantee the tower. We're going to force Maple even further in, not going to be able to react. And Xiaopeng, you're on the same page as me. Great job, brother.
Lyric, I feel like you should become an analyst at this point because you clearly know what's going on in this game. Oh, wait, you are an analyst. Ah, genius. That's good. That's good to see you know what's going on here. Iwandi does get hooked in. That's going to be a lot of damage on Xiaopeng. Be careful, mate. Maple turns golden, flashes out of the play as well. Now look at Xiaopeng, but Twyla takes the paddle star. That's going to be a GLP, but the flash away from Xiaopeng with a shield. Coming out from Twyla somehow escapes.
Yeah, honestly, we didn't see how that fight started. I don't know how Xiaopeng got so...
Well, he's okay. He's okay.
Okay, he's fine. I'm guessing they were just trying to use mid lane pressure to get some vision in the enemy topside jungle and maybe contest the red buff, but great shock blast, I'm sorry, coming out from Flandre to find all that damage on the Xiaopeng. Honestly, surprised Xiaopeng got away.
Yui might not, but he might as well, because the dredge line goes out. I feel like we're watching dogs play right now. You know when dogs get a bit excited and they're playing and they're kind of biting each other a bit, but it's not real biting, it's like play biting. That's what we're witnessing right now. Nobody's actually trying to get a kill here. They're just messing with each other a bit.
Now, which one's... What breeds of dogs are they? Which one's the cuter pup?
This is like... This is a Chihuahua versus a... I don't know, Terrier or something.
Which one's the Chihuahua?
DMO.
Okay, well, DMO, I'm cheering for you.
You like Chihuahuas?
Yeah, I do, actually.
That basically makes you a cat person.
I mean...
Or, no, it makes you a rat person.
If you said one of them was a Corgi, that's what I would have gone for. Flandre. Speaking of Corgis,
these
Flandre
teams are not
flashing
cute
away.
enough to be a Corgi. Corgi is like S tier.
Corgi is S tier, but...
Corgi's S tier, Pugs are S tier, Huskies are S tier. And also...
I kind of like golden retrievers, not for the fact of like I necessarily think they're too cute, but like the reliability, the friendliness that they have.
Collies. collies are. Collies are a lot of work. They need a lot. They need like 2 walks a day. They need a lot of walking because they're
Also
sheepdogs.
kind of like pugs, just because I feel like pugs got the
Need
short
no
end of the stick.
exercise.
Yeah, pugs got like the short end of the stick with like the cuteness level, which makes them cute by default.
Yeah, they're kind of ugly cute, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like DMO.
Oh god.
Where the gameplay may not be traditional cute, but I feel like I'm talking about LNG right now, actually, rather than DMO. It's not traditional cute gameplay, but it's like we'll get some Janna sometimes. That's pretty fun.
If you tuned in for LPL, for League of Legends broadcast, this is like Animal Planet.
You've accidentally subscribed to Dog Facts.
What is it? What do they have?
Text stop to
the
Twitch
Puppy
chat.
Bowl? Have you ever seen that?
The what?
The Puppy Bowl. You know,
Puppy
'cause
Bowl.
in America we have the Super Bowl. We have like a thing where we put like a
Oh.
bunch of little puppies in a ring and they do the same thing.
I remember one time Overwatch League brought a bunch of dogs into the show, and it was by far the best Overwatch broadcast there ever was.
Oh god. Vegetables making the banter to a direct competitor. I salute you, sir.
Take that, enemy that can't even retort right now. Aren't I the witty one? Dear, let's return to the game here, Lyric, because there's been 15 minutes have passed, and a lot of action has been going on, as you can tell by the 4 kills. But Drake is coming up in 35 seconds.
Yeah.
DMO definitely at their strongest when they're a full 5-man squad.
I honestly think LNG will just give this one up for the fact that Flandre's still not here. Flandre's TP is going to be coming up in a second, but... Chalitza, I guess there are 25 seconds left. I thought Drake was a lot closer. Chalitza having to go up topside to answer that wave. Now Flandre probably going to walk straight from base down to this dragon. Could potentially force out Chalitza's TP. I feel like this is the point in the game where you can start contesting this dependent on how Chalitza can play the team fight. If Chalitza can find some kind of massive flank, get on top of like a Maple or a Light, that is DMO's avenue of winning out. But I still favor the item breakpoints for LNG right now.
That's going to be Cleanse burnt on Twyla as well. That is a nice pickup right before a Drake spawns. Yui having to stretch line away. Damage coming out from Maple. So he jumps back over the wall with his portal. And that is going to be this Drake open wide here for LNG. This will be their second. And once again, it's an Ocean Soul coming on through.
DMO at least responding accordingly. Mid lane turret's very low. They are going to pick up this one, so get a bit more gold in their pockets. And they already have the gold lead to begin with, so now going to be sitting at a 1.5k gold lead.
I do feel like this is a little bit of a difference between these two squads as well. Like, when LNG get the lead, they really put their foot down and make sure that they can extend that lead, whereas DMO, they've been known to play a bit of a slower pace of game.
The thing is, I don't feel like DMO really have a great way of accelerating the pace of the game because they only have one avenue. As we said, it's been through topside, and they've tried, Yui's
flash
flash.
out of Yui there. They're contesting for this Rift Herald. XX wants a bit of revenge for what happened in game number 1. Smite went down from Xiaopeng though. XX at least will get out with his life here. Flantre shockwaved away. Xiaopeng trying to escape, but actually re-engaging the fight here. Yui on the side as well, but Xiaopeng's got pretty low. Flandre walks away with his life despite the ignite here. And now Yui runs out of stopwatch and runs out of time. Now onto the Renekton, but Chalitza likes to be in the middle of everyone. It doesn't seem to matter though.
And
Light gets the kill.
The biggest part of that fight to me is if you were following Twyla's positioning, he was on the opposite side of the blue buff wall from the rest of his team, so not really in a position where he can follow up Xiaopeng's engage, and honestly can't even step forward to deal the damage necessary.
I have to say I was a little surprised to see Xiaopeng actually jump back in and force that fight. I felt like DMO had pretty much already lost the fight, and then they kind of added casualties.
It's strange too, right? Because they'd already gotten the Herald, and we saw that Chalitza was answering wave bot. Flandre pushed it out. That's why he was able to move first. That's why LNG contested. But they could have just tried to get out scot-free. And like you said, we just see Xiaopeng jump back in. Xiaopeng gets the smite. He gets the Herald. He still has ult, so right, he can just run up towards the top side of the map. He wouldn't even need to ult over the terrain. He honestly could have just run away, jumps in, but look at Twyla. Not a position where he can deal any damage. Maple doing a great job of zoning him out. XX as well stepping forward. Shubin not in a great place where he can walk forward either. And it sets up for these 3 kills for LNG.
And it all started before Chalitza had finished teleporting anyway, so they couldn't really do anything with it. Flandre gets out on the Dark Passage here as the action continues. We're flying over a blue buff this time, and it's Flandre the one to grab it. It's Xiaopeng. Has to flash away. I'm surprised his flash was available, to be quite honest, after that last fight, but he'll get out with his life. TP comes out from Maple, who wants more of this action. Trouble Bubble not going to come out through the wall there. And we reset once more, but now LNG, after the back of that fight, have found themselves the gold lead.
And let's remember that even though we've talked about DMO scaling, right? They have the Orianna, they have the Ezreal, they have a front line, you know, in their other 3 members. LNG have a Trundle to steal away some of those frontline stats. They have this Aphelios that's going to be massive. And Maple, despite not being the same level of damage dealer as an Orianna, is still going to put out some insane damage onto Shubin or Twyla.
Got a hook coming out from Iwandi. Gets everyone with the flay, but there's no damage here just yet. Shockwave's too early from Twyla. Moonlight Vigil onto everyone, and Maple's here to sweep up as well. XX now going to chase down Shubin. There's a hook. There's another kill. This one to Light, and now Yui. There's no way out of this one for you, my friend. Another paddle star, another kill for Maple.
And there's so many factors. LNG had numbers advantage. We can see Chalitza and Xiaopeng are not here. Xiaopeng's farming his jungle. The execution wasn't even there from the DMO members that were. Like you said, the Shockwave completely whiffing. And Maple finding a great flank. Iwandi buying time. And it's Aphelios, so we're going to do some Baron.
He doesn't even have the shurikens, but you know what? Now he does, so there we go. We're going to be able to go for this one. The Calibur comes out, going to be able to stack up some shurikens and then start flinging them. Baron's going to go down at 20 minutes flat. And I said a minute ago, Lyric, DMO, they're not a team I think about accelerating the advantage. LNG apparently are, because the second they got control of this game, they're running away with things.
This also comes down to draft in my mind. I would have loved to see DMO draft some sort of early game-oriented composition. If you think back to DMO, they look best when they have things like Rek'Sai's or Lee Sin's, but we see LNG find this potential pick. Maple was actually zoning out Xiaopeng, so he makes his way through River first. The Shockwave completely misses, so Iwandi doesn't even go down. And Maple in a great position, hits the bubble, lands an amazing paddle star, and now we have a 4v2 in top side. It's very easy for LNG to clean this up.
And I was really scared at the start of that one for Iwandi. It felt like he'd gone way too deep, but with the aftershock, he was able to survive and a stopwatch as well. It's another trouble bubble from Maple. Maple has been running rampage in this game.
Ooh,
We've got another pick as well onto Yui. Stoneplate's not going to do much for you here, friend. And that's another kill now. LNG. I mean, they're just running away with this.
I like you highlight Maple because, again, Maple was the one zoning Xiaopeng away from being able to even answer that topside play. So it's all coming down to Maple, and Flandre just being set up to succeed by the rest of his team. Now having this Baron going to do so much work in the side lane.
True Shot Barrage across the team here. We've got XX in the back line, but he's actually going to be forced out of the play. Might even go down on this one. Never mind. They're way too far ahead to go down at this point. There's just another kill instead. As this siege continues in the mid lane. Flandre moved up. The paddle star a little bit too early for Maple, so can't get the range on it. But they're still going to be able to take the tower.
This is where LNG's comp thrives as well. We have so much range coming out from Jason Zoe. Even Light, if he is able to get that Calibur.
Maple flashes away the shield. Doesn't time out, so he will survive the death charge. But well, there's an inhib going down. Now they move to the bottom side as well, as Flandre and XX are going to finish another tower. They are getting We're 22 minutes into the game, Lyric.
And think about it. Like 4 minutes ago, this game was dead even. Off of some picks on top side.
DMO favored.
DMO had the gold lead. They gave up some picks on the top half of the map, and LNG once again going to be able to put themselves on soul point unless Xiaopeng can ult in and find some kind of amazing steal.
We'll have to see. I mean, I'm not sure it would have been worth sacrificing yourself for at this point. But maybe the next one in 5 minutes. That's 2 Ocean Drakes now.
There are certain comps where point clipping the game is much better if you have the Renekton, if you have the LeBlanc, if you have the Ashe to Syndra. When you fall too far behind, when you have a composition like this.
What? Did you see that?
He dredge line.
Yeah, but he saw them there,
yes.
and then he dredge line. He could have just gone the other way.
But this is the 17th place team.
That's like you're walking home, it's 1 a.m., it's dark, you see a dark alley, and there's a guy there with a knife, and you're like, yeah, I can risk the shortcut. I could go this way. This will be fine.
I actually feel like the dark alley with the knife would be much safer than
what he did.
What he did, actually. I don't know if I'd feel too threatened by a guy in a dark alley with a knife. If I see the enemy team in my solo queue game all in a brush and I'm by myself, I know I'm dead.
Yeah. That says a lot about your life, Lyric.
Going back to my point, though, since DMO do have a bit of a scaling aspect in their comp, waiting for that crucial moment where hopefully Twyla can hit a miracle shockwave is a realistic way for them to play out the rest of this game.
That is true. I mean, Twyla's going to get stronger. He does have a Ludens. He's heading towards a Banshees. Shockwave is an ability that can win the game by itself.
That is League of Legends. When you buy items, you don't get weaker.
That is true. Well, LS would argue differently.
That is true. Shout out to the man himself.
Who, Boris the shopkeeper or LS? Here we go. Siege in the top lane now. Is LNG painting by numbers, except the numbers are the lanes and the colors are the deaths of DMO players. Now just relegated into the base. That's Dominus been used by Chalitza. The siege continues in the top side. Flandre continues the split push on the bottom side.
You know, what's good and interesting for, like, tangenting off the LS point is, did you read the update about 2021?
Which update?
The one about, like, the gameplay updates where they talked about item changes, talked about rune changes.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
One of the things they said is they really want to cut down the amount of healing in the game.
Nice.
And they want to rework Grievous wounds.
They're going to delete Yumi! Let's go!
So all of the LCK fans in our chat who, you know, going to be spamming about Morello, you know, next year it's all going to be different. Next year we're going to be in a better place, hopefully. Hopefully.
But that won't stop them. They'll still build the Morello. It could be an AD item.
Morello could be completely different, though, right? They're going to change Grievous wounds.
I think Morello's fine. If the pros build it, then I'm going to build it. Because why would I critically think about what I do lyrically?
Do you feel like a lot of problems in life come when you don't just choose to be ignorant to things? Being ignorant is always better than just, you know, following the herd.
It's like Cypher says in The Matrix, ignorance is bliss. And then he betrays everyone.
It's like,
and if that's not the guy you want to be, then, well, you're probably a normal person. Congratulations. Lyric doesn't know where to go with that, right?
I really don't.
Have you not seen The Matrix?
I will quote another famous movie, as Dora the Explorer says, "Swipe or no swiping."
He does say that. He does say that. I would argue that the closest champion to Dora is Zoe, and she swipes.
There we go.
So that's pretty hypocritical.
So what you're saying is my references are actually 200 IQ.
Your references are off the chain, Lyric.
As we talk about the game, obviously LNG are setting up to force a pick around Baron. Ooh,
or just in the mid lane.
Maple might even just find the pick. Flandre is putting a ton of pressure down on bot side, is going to be able to potentially force that inhib, so Chalitza is going to have to look for back now. And if they commit 2 members down, very easy for Flandre just to TP over. And at this point, right, we look at the gold lead, 6K gold. LNG definitely come out ahead in team fights right now, though Violet does finally have another item.
Look out of I1D. It's going to be Chalitza to start, but I will be forced to flash away. Redemption will keep him healthy. The TP came out from Flandre. Shockwave not going to do a whole heap of much here. It's going to be a nice trouble bubble coming out. Sharpung escapes with his life. This is a good answer from DMO, though. They've stopped the Baron. They've stopped the split push.
That's the thing is, I honestly feel like Flandre should have held on longer to pushing the inhib. I understand why he TP'd right away, right? Like, the fight looked like it was going to break out. You have to be there. You don't want to be at a numbers disadvantage. But even if you could have called for your team to be more patient, like, hey, guys, no one's showing, no one's answering yet. Let's take this inhibitor. Let's take this a bit slower. I feel like it could have been a more optimal way for LNG to set up the map. But, hey, Dragon's up in 8 seconds. This would be Ocean Soul for LNG.
And now the split push Nautilus comes on through, what we've all been waiting for. Oh no, he's going to leave it. The minions might actually finish this inhib. There is a cannon there.
I think they will at some point.
It'll be a little while, but there's another wave on the way. In the meantime, Ocean Soul is up for grabs. And LNG are more than happy to be the ones to grab it here. Xiaopeng ignited. Will just charge away. Somehow survives it, but that is going to be Ocean Soul now.
And that's going to be the bot inhibitor.
The inhib went down. It's like, it was one of those situations for DMO where you have a decision to make, and there is 2 bad options that you have to decide between. And they were like, well, these options are both bad, so let's just not pick either. They can have both objectives.
That is what
the perfect solution.
Hey, they can have a third one as well, Bugsballs. They can take it off. You know what? Walking
DMO,
the Nexus is right there.
DMO is screaming to me right now. It is pizza o'clock. We're already in 17th. We'll be 17th if we lose this game. Get me home. Get me a pizza. Get me a beer. Let's go watch The Simpsons.
You know, I don't blame them. That honestly sounds pretty nice.
It does sound pretty great.
I mean, it sounds much nicer than being 8K gold down to LNG, who now just have to walk forward. They don't even need to play out through 3 lanes because they have the bot lane inhib. Well, the minions got them the bot lane inhibitor. They can just play a 2-lane setup, have Flandre and Maple leaning in mid, as we see now, commit them then to rotating top when the wave does get there, and they should be able to just secure all 3 inhibitors for themselves.
it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot that DMO can do about it at this point. Shubin, he just wanted a bit of poke, man. That's all he wanted. He's been brutalized for it. XX can run in. There's a redemption to keep him healthy as well. There's another kill for Flandre. And at this point, if they don't just try and get Flandre a Penta, I don't know what they're doing, but he's actually just going to die to the tower. So never mind. He doesn't deserve the Penta. Either way, the fight goes the way of LNG. The game is going to go the way of LNG. And that means LNG, by the looks of things, are going to finish the split in 13th place. Congratulations, LNG. It's better than 16th. That's definitely for sure. And DMO, this has been a pretty disappointing game for them. Pretty disappointing series for them. Pretty disappointing split for them, to be quite honest. But there we have it. LNG 2-0 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, for the side of DMO, whatever the result was today didn't matter. Overall, it's a lot worse of how your split went as a whole. And again, the issues you had in your roster, obviously, so many members leaving coming into some.